All right, so first I'm gonna act out a patient with respiratory stress, and I want you guys to tell me what you're thinking of. Patient shows up maybe in his later teens or early 20s with respiratory stress and is doing this. Okay, no history of fever, chills, recent colds, just all of a sudden felt a tickle in his throat and started doing that. What is the differential diagnosis? What are the top things we're going to think about? So, epiglottitis, great. I like that one. What else? Laryngospasm, awesome. It happened suddenly, so... Right, so foreign body aspiration, could be a localized allergic reaction if they were eating something and they cause a reaction. I really like what you said, a laryngospasm. So most of the time, patient presents with acute onset of stridor, and we'll diagnose it with asthma. We'll treat them with inhalers because they're doing this. I like epiglottitis because you always have to think, especially in the emergency department, worst first. So epiglottitis is a very good one, but no fever, no chills, no history of anything like that. Unlikely that's the case, but it's on top of my list of things to rule out. This is actually laryngospasm. The reason I'm bringing it in because it often gets misdiagnosed as severe asthma attack, or if it's a younger kid, maybe croup, and it's not. It's an upper airway obstruction, and that differentiates from lower airway obstruction because lower airway is more like instead of the so this particular patient showed up like that, and in the hospital it showed up, they were able to do a laryngoscopy. So in the initial treatment, you know, obviously you start an IV, you try to relax him, you do the vaponephrine, which is a racemic epi, and you try that. Some people actually take plain old epinephrine ampoules and dump it and nebulize epinephrine, and that just kind of helps with the edema related to the upper airway, and the erythema, inflammation, things like that. Ultimately, they need sedation. They need Ativan. They need some kind of Versed or something to sedate them because they're just in distress because this upper airway is blocked. So in this particular patient, they went and did a flexible laryngoscopy right in the ER, and they saw a paradoxical vocal cord movement. And it's actually a syndrome. It's called VCD. And it happens most of in athletes. They're doing exercise, they're breathing fast, and somehow the cold air or the air induces a spasm, and they do this. Sometimes it's associated with Munchausen. They used to call them like people faking the illness stuff. It's not really that they're faking it, but it is associated with an anxiety type thing or spasm. That's why the Ativan and things like that helps. And what you see on the laryngoscopy is that the vocal cord, instead of opening with inspiration, they actually close up and causes that inspiratory stridor. In this hospital, in bigger ERs, academic centers, they're using ketamine for everything. So they gave the patient some ketamine, and it has a couple potential benefits. One thing is that ketamine is associated with potential upper airway obstruction, but because it's a sedative and an anxiolytic, it helps a lot. In this particular place, they were ready to do intubation if it needed be, but it helped a lot to this particular patient. They went in, they did laryngoscopy, and they saw that diagnosis. I've seen cases of laryngospasm about once a year, and often, I came in for an asthma attack, and they treated me, I got better, and then I'm back again with doing this. And the trick is, go to vaponephrine, use the benzodiazepines to sedate them, and yes, it tends to be a recurrent problem. Eventually they need ENT to do laryngoscopy to make a definitive diagnosis and to rule out a foreign body, to rule out epiglottitis, to rule out any kind of, maybe they have a vocal cord nodule and it's getting inflamed, or a polyp is getting on the way and it happens, but most of the time it's something idiopathic. You never find out what caused it in the first place. So if you ever see this again, now you know the differential, you know how to treat it, and that's it.